Hey guys, it's Pawpaw and my girl Heidi. See if I can adjust this a little bit. Yeah, maybe it's better. What do you think, Heidi? Is it better? Yeah. Don't need to see all of Pawpaw. Not a lot to see. Now, I'm gonna take you for a ride. Something I want you to see, and we're going to talk about it for a little bit. So, you want to tell them about it? Alright, it's not fun. It's not fun, Bobo. It's not funny. It was kind of funny, It was kind of funny. I didn't mean to laugh at you. Okay? I didn't mean to laugh. Yeah, we're gonna ride back here in the back. This is Memorial Day after night. There goes. Man's a little knowing back here. That's good. That's good. You know, what we're going to do, we're going to go back and talk about those bees. And I was very disappointed that, if that wind is blowing, I'm sorry, I didn't bring my filter. I didn't know the wind was blowing. So I'm going to wait till we get down there and we're going to talk about it. You know, I was disappointed that my box down here in the woods, we was sitting here the first day and one come along, he just popped her for no reason. And she's, I ain't gonna sit here and look at them people pop off. Anyway, I was disappointed my box wasn't getting any bees. I mean, we had some come and visit and then leave, and come visit and then leave, and the spring just kind of kept going. And I was like, well, you know, it's we're not gonna get nothing, I don't think. So I mean, sometimes you get late swarms, so I left the box. I come back and rebaited it a couple of times, you know, and we talked about baiting these boxes. You know, I build these boxes, and well, I'm gonna turn it around as you see. I build these boxes just out of scrap stuff around the house, and I make the measurements so they'll hold frames. You open the top, which is just screwed down on there, and there's a space in there that'll hold 5 and sometimes 4, but 4 or 5 frames that bees would make their honey on, or their comb on. Just blank frames. You know, sometimes you put foundation on them. Sometimes you put old frames in there with old honeycomb on them, but no honey in them. Just, you know, old comb. Now you just put just a blank frame in there sometimes, but you bait it with a little bit of lemongrass oil. You can buy it, Amazon or anywhere else. And you put some on a cotton ball and you kind of rub it on the top of the frames before you put the top on it. Then you take that cotton ball and saturate it pretty good, and you shove it, paint a little bit of that oil around the little doorway there, the little entrance. And then you shove the cotton ball on the inside. Now, to keep from taking it completely apart, when I rebait, I just take a Q-tip. And I don't open it up. I just paint a little bit around the door with a Q-tip, and then throw the Q-tip bit on the floor. Yeah, throw the Q-tip in there. Well, these bees have moved in. Now, these are wild bees. They don't seem aggressive, even though one of them did sting Hattie. I've walked up to the box and listened to them, and yeah, I'll let you listen to them again here in a minute. They've been here since Saturday. They was not here early Saturday morning when we made our rounds, but they were here Saturday night. So sometime during the day Saturday, this swarm moved in. And the strange thing was I wasn't seeing no bee activity here at all days leading up to it. Now, was this swarm from those scouts that came here a while back, was in here, it seemed like for 2 or 3 days, checking it all out? Were they not ready to swarm and they were just checking out their new home when they did? That's a possibility. Or this could be a completely different swarm, just located this box and went in it. Now, these bees are from somewhere in these woods. I know there's only 2 other beekeepers in our neighborhood, and neither one of them have lost any swarms, so I know these bees are coming out of these woods. And last year, after that big freeze we had no bees at all. It seemed like that freeze maybe killed out a bunch of colonists, you know, southern bees that used to have cold weather. I don't know. Or maybe they wasn't really well protected from the cold. And this is the first swarm I've seen in the woods. I've seen it, you know, we saw those scouts come in out of here a couple of times. But this is the first time I've seen a swarm in the woods this year. And normally, the years prior to last year, we could get 2 or 3 swarms a year, a spring. They were plentiful. All of them coming out of these deep woods back here in the back. These woods are thousands of acres of old growth timber. That old growth is old trees that probably hundreds of years old, and they'll have hollows all through them. Plenty of places for bees to live. Now, this whole tree here, and I can't even tell you what kind of tree it is, but this old tree has been my favorite tree for capturing swarms. My favorite tree. I've caught more swarms off this one tree, and it's not the tree itself, it's just because of the tree's location. It's right here on the edge of this opening. And there's bees come out of those woods into these openings looking for pollen, sources of pollen, flowers, whatever. And they happened up on this tree. I mean, they may pass right by it. They smell that bait, they make a U-turn and come back and check it out. Now, the bait supposedly, I don't know if this is a fact, supposedly smells like the pheromones, whatever they call that word, that a queen bee puts off. I don't know if that's true, but it attracts bees. Not to eat. They're not here to eat it. They're here, it just excites them, and they come in here, and then they discover there's a cavity here in this box, and there's frames in there that look familiar to them. The comb and stuff, the honeycomb that's attached to those frames, all familiar. And no one's living here, say, hey, a vacant house. And they decide, we'll just come in here and rent this place. But anyway, they're here. And they're bringing pollen in, so I know that they plan on staying. Now, we talked a little bit about it the other day when I showed them to you. But they're not really as active right now as they have been because the wind's blowing pretty hard. But they are coming and going. They're bringing pollen in, and that means they're storing it. So they're not going to be storing anything if they didn't plan on staying. Now, inside that box is a whole different world. There are workers in there working their little butts off, cleaning that place up, getting it ready for that queen to start laying in those cells. And if there's not any cells there on a vacant old comb, they're making cells for her to lay in. And she's patiently waiting for them to lay some cells or build some cells so she can start laying her eggs. And once she starts laying, in a couple of 2 or 3 weeks, they'll start hatching off, and there'll be little bees coming out here left and right. And it's at that point that we'll probably come along here and try to take this box down and put them into a hive and relocate them up by my house where I can kind of care for them, take care of them. And plus here, this area here floods if we get a hurricane, or this area here would be a lot of deep water coming through here, and it could destroy the box. Or, I mean, the bees are in the box. So that's the plan on this box. And when we get ready to move them, you can come with me, and I'll bring my truck and a box down here, a hive for them to go in, and we'll do it all right here underneath this tree. And maybe leave the box here to dark, so all the foragers out, when they come home, they'll be able to get back in the box with their queen and all their bees, and then we'll try to move them all at night to the new location. That's the plan. So I'm gonna walk you up, let you listen to them. See that one going in with a yellow? That's pollen. The little sacs on her legs are full of pollen. They collect that pollen off flowers, hey, maybe some of my cucumbers. They spread pollen around and they bring it home. See them going in with that yellow bags on their legs, that's pollen. All right. Heidi says, I'm ready to go, Papa. Let's get out of here. All right, I hope y'all have enjoyed this. And I'm going to put this little video together. It's going to be, name it something like Bees Coming Home, or Bees Coming to Pawpaw, or something like that. I hope y'all enjoyed this. And what we'll do, I'm going to show you in the next day or two another video showing you what's inside a regular beehive. I know a lot of people drive down the highways and they'll see out on these pastures, maybe somewhere around crops and stuff, a bunch of these boxes, these white boxes, or most of them are usually white. And they'll say, oh, those are beehives, honeybees. They make honey. Yep, they do. They also pollinate those crops. But do you really know what's all inside that box besides just bees? Well, I'm going to show you. All right, we're going to go to the house now. Let's go, Heidi. Let's go, baby. These bees seem plenty gentle to Pawpaw. Let's go. Yep, come on. Get your big butt over. Lord. I don't have a problem with big butts, Heidi. But you're going to have to get it over. You got to get it over. I have no room. It ain't right, Heidi. It ain't right, baby. Sometimes you act almost like Ivy. Oh, that Ivy. We'll drive by and check on Ivy. Hello, boys and girls. Hello. Your dad's fence here. Now let's go back over here to that bar in your way. Okay? Yeah. I got some bread. Don't like bread? Don't kick him, Harvey. Don't kick him. Alright. I'll be bringing y'all up to the house and feeding you in a minute. Y'all okay for right now? Ivan! Ivan, be sweet, son. You gotta be sweet to babies. My Lord. What's wrong with him? Alright guys, I'm gonna get this video out to you. And I got a couple of chores I need to do. And Ivan is in with the goats, as you saw, and he's not happy about it. And but he's doing well in here with them. He needs to be in here a little bit more with them instead of out here walking around out in the pasture all day and coming home at night when he gets ready. He needs to learn a lesson. You got to be punished. You got to be grounded. Like we did our kids that's growing up. They didn't come in by a certain time. Got to ground them. All right, guys. I'm going to cut this off, get it out to you. I love you guys. Take care.